Welcome back to Sportsworld, where we're about to talk football and Collingwood's victory yesterday over Essendon in the AFL Grand Final. John, you were on a plane yesterday when the game started, but you got down for the second half, and I know you really enjoyed it.
Well, unfortunately, the game was pretty one-sided by that stage. It all turned around, I guess, after the fight at the end of the first quarter, which is always exciting. But, yes, the Magpies really got going in the early part of the second quarter.
Well, living in Sydney, do you find it hard to sort of realise exactly what this victory has meant for the people in Melbourne?
Well, we've got educated in the past few weeks, understanding that they've been in so many grand finals, and then when they've been there, have actually had chances to win the grand final matches and yet blown them. And, you know, being a leading team for so long and actually not winning for 32 years, unbelievable.
Yeah, I think that was the whole key to it, the fact that they've been there so many times and haven't done it. But anyway, we've got a pretty good story on this.
Yes, and it is. After 32 years, in fact, the Pies downed Essendon by 48 points. And as you can imagine, Melbourne has been engulfed in Magpie mania. In fact, it's been like that for the last 2 weeks in anticipation. Dixie Marshall takes a look at Melbourne during the grand final week.
Grand final week in Melbourne. It's something special. For 1 week a year, the back page becomes the front page. Talk of recession and a crisis in the Middle East is deemed irrelevant. Normal, hard-working family people become rabid zealots. This year, though, it became even more extraordinary. Why? Well, put simply, Collingwood was a contender. The most famous football club in the country had a chance of ending the most celebrated drought in Australian sporting history. No so-called collywobbles in the lead-up this year. They'd made the big one for the first time since 1977, straight through to the grand final from the second semi-final. And that meant not just 1, but 2 weeks of Magpie mania.
It's hard to describe a true Maggie supporter, sort of a fanatical follower who's prepared to ride an emotional roller coaster stretching 3 decades. The last time the Pies won the flag was 1958. In fact, 11 of their 13 premierships were won by 1936.
Long before many of today's fans were even born. Across town, and they're a little more accustomed to victory at Essendon. They went back-to-back, 84, 85, had been final stalwarts for most of the 80s. With or without success, though, the rituals of Grand Final week remain constant.
Kill him, fellas, kill him!
There's the parade. Tens of thousands of gleeful faces line the streets, while some very nervous ones proceed down them. For supporters, this is their only up-close look at the men who entertained the nation yesterday. For many of the players, it merely added more butterflies to the already churning stomachs. The two coaches certainly coped differently with all the razzmatazz. Kevin Sheedy travelled with his family, Lee Matthews only with his thoughts. In the suburbs, fans wore their hearts on their sleeves, in their houses and their shops. Team shrines popped up everywhere. By the end of the week, the emotion was almost outrageous. 15,000 Magpie supporters turned out Thursday night to watch their heroes train. That's more than attended some full games this year. And amongst the frenzy, spare a thought for Kerry Walsh.
From the football club, hold the line. From the football club, hold the line. From the football club, hold the line.
She's the Pies receptionist, answering on average 1,500 calls a day last week. She'll surely be given Monday off, now that Collingwood are premiers.
I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Satchmo, so there really is a God, eh?
Absolutely, and gee, it's been a long, long wait for them, but well worth it.
Yep, and it was a good, you know, as we were saying earlier today, it was a really